Hello everyone, today we will be solving Jan 21 Physics IAL Unit 5. Okay, so read the question, I'll give you a summary. We are talking about oxygen and nitrogen, and we know oxygen is more massive, so we will compare the speed, velocity and kinetic energy of oxygen and nitrogen. We know that at a certain temperature, the kinetic energy of all the gases are the same. Okay, the kinetic energy, not their velocity, not the speed, but the kinetic energy. So the molecule which is heavier will have a lesser speed. Okay. Part A, answer number A, option A, let us analyze whether this is the right answer or not. The mean velocity of oxygen is greater than the mean velocity of nitrogen molecules. Okay, this is wrong because the velocity of all the gases is zero. We assume that they come back to the same position after bouncing around. The mean speed of oxygen is same as the mean speed of the nitrogen molecules. That is wrong because since oxygen is more massive, it should have a lower speed so that oxygen and nitrogen will have the same kinetic energy. The mean kinetic energy of oxygen is greater than the mean kinetic energy of nitrogen. No, they will have the same kinetic energy. That leaves us with part D. The mean kinetic energy of oxygen is same as the mean kinetic energy of nitrogen molecules. So D is the correct answer. Scientists believe that some of the mass of our universe consists of dark matter. Which of the following is true? Okay, so let us analyze. It absorbs all electromagnetic radiation. Okay, it absorbs all electromagnetic radiation. Okay, A is not the right answer because dark matter, as we know, we just know that dark matter does not emit radiation, does not absorb electromagnetic radiation. So A is out of the question. B, it emits no electromagnetic radiation. Okay, this is true. This is true. So this could be an answer. It exerts no gravitational force. No, that is wrong because we calculate their existence by calculating the gravitational force. So they do exert gravitational force. It is a form of antimatter. We don't know what dark matter is. Okay, so we can't say that it is antimatter. So that leaves us with B only. Penetration of a matter by radiation depends on ionizing power. Which of the following statement is correct? Okay, let us see. Alpha, beta, gamma. We have three options. So let us recall their properties one by one. Alpha particles are weakly ionizing. Okay, so this itself is wrong because alpha particles, as we know, are strongly ionizing. So because of this statement is false. It is not correct. Alpha particles are highly ionizing. Okay, so this part is correct. So they can only travel a few centimeters in air. Okay, this could be correct. B could be the right answer. Let us see whether C and D make sense or not. Gamma radiation is highly ionizing. Gamma is not highly ionizing. This is wrong. Gamma is weakly ionizing. Okay, this is correct. So it is not very penetrating. This part is wrong. We know gamma is very penetrating. So the correct answer is B. A metal bar heated, allowed to cool, the wavelength. Okay, so we are talking about this law here. Lambda max into T is equal to 2.898 10 to the power minus 3 meter Kelvin. Okay, so this tells us that more the temperature, less the wavelength. So lambda decreases as metal bar cools. Okay, so it is saying that as temperature decreases, lambda will decrease. No, this is wrong. Lambda increases as metal bar cools. Okay, this is the right answer. We know that this is the right answer, but let us see number C and D as well. Lambda increases as metal bar is heated. This is wrong because we know that they have an inverse relation. Lambda stays constant as metal bar. Oh, this is also wrong because we know that they have an inverse relation. Okay, so B is the correct answer. A car is driven along an uneven road. This forces the car into vertical oscillations. Over time, the energy of the oscillation increases by a factor of 4, the amplitude. Okay, so we're talking about the energy of oscillation and the amplitude of the oscillation. We understand that the amplitude of the oscillation is directly proportional to the square root of the energy. Okay, or you could memorize the fact that the energy is proportional to the square of the amplitude. Same thing. But here, since we're talking about energy and amplitude and we're asked about the amplitude, so it is better to keep the amplitude the subject. Amplitude directly proportional to the square root of the energy. Okay, so since the amplitude, also the energy has increased by a factor of 4, so the amplitude should double. Okay, the amplitude should increase by the square root of 4, that is 2. So C is the correct answer. Okay, so we have a star Vega that has 5 times the luminosity and it is 1.5 times the distance from the Earth than Altair. So we are talking about the intensity and we have to compare the intensity. For this sort of question, you only have to know the formula of intensity. We know that the formula of intensity is the luminosity divided by the 4 pi d square. We know this formula. So let us compare IV and IA. IV divided by IA. Okay. So let me just erase this part. IV versus IA. IB divided by IA. So IV is LV divided by 4 pi dV square divided by LA by 4 pi dA square. Okay, that gives us what? That gives us 4 pi cancel out. So that gives us LV by LA into dA square, dA by dV whole square. Okay. Now the question tells us that Vega has 5 times the luminosity. So 5 by 1. Also it tells us Vega is 1.5 times the distance. So dV by dA is 1.5. So this will be 1.5, this will be 1 square. Now if you calculate this, the answer will be 2.22. So we don't have 2.22, but the ratio asks about approximate ratio. So C is the correct answer. So you have a small satellite 245 kg orbiting the Earth. The radius of the orbit is equal to twice the radius of Earth. The weight of the satellite is in the orbit is about. Okay, so let us analyze the answers one by one. Number A. Well, the weight cannot be 0 because weight is only 0 at an infinite distance, and we know that the satellite is still orbiting. The question is saying that the satellite is orbiting, so it does have some weight. Okay. B. Yeah, B could be the right answer. B could be the right answer because it is somewhere in between. C cannot be the correct answer because this is the weight somewhere between the orbit height and the Earth's surface. So C cannot be the right answer. And D can't be the right answer because D is the weight on the Earth's surface itself. So D cannot be the right answer. B is the only right answer. Two stars X, Y have same temperature. X has a radius 25% larger than the radius of Y. Okay, so we have to compare the luminosity once again. So once again, for this type of question, you need to know the formula. The formula for luminosity, L is equal to 4 pi square r square sigma t to the power 4. So here 4 pi square is a constant, sigma is a constant, r means the radius of the star and T means the temperature. Okay, so let us compare the luminosity, Lx by Ly. So Lx by Ly. Okay, let us see what are the things that we can cancel out here. Okay, 4 pi square is same for both. They don't have the same radius, so we have to keep the radius. Okay, Rx square. Sigma is the same for both, it's a constant. The temperature, yes, they have the same temperature, so that T will also get cancelled out. So we are only concerned with Rx and Ry square. They're telling us that X has 25 times larger the radius. Okay, so if the radius of Y is R, the radius of X will be 1.25 R. Okay, how does that happen? R plus 25% of R gives us 1.25 R. Now if I take the square common, cut out the r's, 1.5 square will give me 1.56. So that approximately rounds off to 1.6. So C is the correct answer. Okay, you can, this is a big question, so you can pause and read the question. Here we have a graph of the acceleration versus time. This is acceleration, and we're talking about simple harmonic motion. So they're asking us what is the displacement, which graph shows us the displacement. We know that for simple harmonic motion, acceleration is directly proportional to the negative of the displacement. So the displacement and acceleration will have the same type of graph, okay, but only the displacement will be reflected about the x-axis. So let us see which of the following curves is the reflection of this curve along the x-axis. So as we can see, this A is the reflection, so A is the correct answer. Which of the following graph shows how the velocity of the object? Okay, so this is how I remember this thing. Well, you know that when the acceleration is maximum, the velocity is minimum. The velocity is 0 in fact. Okay, so you have to look for a graph. Here the acceleration is maximum, right? At this point the acceleration is maximum, so you have to look for a graph which is 0 at this point. Okay, which shows 0 at this point. So we can see that C shows 0 at this point. Okay, so C is the correct answer for number D. So for number 10, there is another way of looking at it. We know that the acceleration time graph is the gradient of the velocity time graph. gradient of the velocity time graph. So you analyze from all these four shapes, which of the following shapes will give you the gradient, which of the following shapes will give you the acceleration time graph when you differentiate this graph with respect to time. So C is the only graph which, if you differentiate with respect to time, it will give you this graph. Okay, because here the gradient is 0, the gradient is 0, so here acceleration is 0. Here the gradient is maximum, yes, the acceleration is also maximum, and so on. And you can analyze the rest of the graph and come to the conclusion that yes, C is indeed the velocity time graph.